everybody. Hey, Will Robertson, of course, Film Festival Live and filmfestivallive.com. You can check us out there and see all of our new, rapidly adding stories. And by the way, if you are a content provider, creator, god, goddess, whatever, get a hold of us because we love to continuously update and put more news about film festivals around the world. And here we are. I'm Will. I'm your host. The show used to be called Acting Up Live because as a professional actor of 40 years, I've kind of been around the block, and I watched the transition from, doing a studio like this, which would have, wait a second here. Stand by. We lost the light. Can't have a low lighting situation. Anyway, been doing this a long time, so I've watched, a long time ago, 100 years ago in the 80s. Yeah. In the 80s when we were doing black and white photos, and I was working as a Fox Kids Club host on air for about 7 years. That's when Fox cared about families. Anyway, in any case, I was doing that one-man band thing, shoot, edit. I had a Beta SP. Thing was like 90 pounds. Go into an editing bay that, by the way, was a Mac, and it was about $1 million editing bay. Now you probably could be getting that thing for free, because what you can do on that machine and that bay, I can do all now here on my iPhone 11 Plus Pro Max, 4K, and all the different apps. So it's changed a lot, but for the better in most cases, unless you're an actor now. Instead of going after and doing an audition with maybe 100 people, it's 300,000 people, and I don't know how they do it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Anyway, lots of great information on the show, from being a director to being a film festival to being an actor to being anybody in the industry, writer, doesn't matter. Love to have them on talking about this because, again, as I've said, along with my partner Sal, who is in New York, NYC, and we are here in Hollywood, so we're kind of bi-coastal. Cool. Bottom line is that there are so many film festivals, and we got tired of seeing the film festivals riding in the back seat. Now they're in the driver's seat. I mean, let's be honest. Before, when you did something like this, you created a film or something like that, in order for you to see it on the big screen, back in the day, it was just so much more difficult, which is all we really want to do. I don't care if I get paid. I just want to see my name in lights or in a big screen, like many people that we are talking to and interviewing. Very excited today about having someone on the show that is in a town that I wish, or a state I wish I was in, not confusion, and that's Atlanta, because I'm so tired of my agent going, yeah, that show's in Atlanta. Yeah, I just found out that, what was the name of the show? I was totally surprised, but damn, I can't remember it's coming to my head. Oh, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai shoots. They have a whole compound apparently shooting in most of it in Atlanta. What the? Damn. Anyway, so hiya, and let's get to the show and let's get to our guest. I am excited that Jim Farmer, who is a really great film festival, excited about this one because I was talking to Sal and I said, one of the cool things about film festivals is that not only are people able to be creative and expressive, but also able to bring out what they're passionate about. And when you watch film, a lot of times you're seeing people's passion. And in this day and age, BLM, LGBT, all kinds of situations, black, white, whatever, gay, straight. And the cool thing is that we can get the message out and people will watch it because, as you know, this is my phrase, we're all hooked on iPhonics. And so with that being said, and most of the stuff being viewed on screens like this, I was excited when I found out that Jim was going to be on the show. Very difficult. Had to pay him millions. I'm kidding. But we're excited to have him on the show. So here's exactly what you'll be seeing. Hang tight. Got to get my glasses to be able to put the thing just like this and watch this. for a promo, a trailer. I love that poster. Jim, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me today, Will.
I'm very excited, and we decided to wear sort of matching glasses.
Exactly. I changed glasses just for that purpose
And
today.
so did I. By the way, if you're watching on Instagram, as I'm showing my phone right here, you're probably getting robbed because you're seeing a green screen, and you need to log on. Hit on my profile, the link. You'll see this live stream with me interviewing this young man here. Jim, very excited. You're in Atlanta. Ow! I hit my knee. And the film festival. God, I love that poster at the end. Is that your poster?
That is the poster that our graphics designer came up with. And he is, listen, he's young, he's energetic, he comes up with great ideas. The minute we saw this, we like, oh my God, we virtually passed out. It's like, we like, because yeah, we, he does amazing graphic work for us. And we just, every year he comes up with something unique and that we absolutely adore
It
what he did
is.
this year. So thank you.
It is amazing, and it is definitely ticket ready. I mean, that is just an amazing. I just saw that and went, wow. I think you should start the demo off of that because or the promo.
Exactly. The weird thing is that we have to change it next year. It's like, I don't want to change it. I want to keep that forever. But
Yeah, don't change it. Just do some sort of like color thing and do the Obama thing with it or something. That'd be kind of cool.
make some tweaks here and there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I noticed that you have the same sort. I think you're my stunt double. You're.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, let's talk about this here. First of all, one of the obvious questions. All, by the way, if you want to get a hold of them on Instagram, it's out on film. I love that. Immediately when I looked at that, I'm like, that's pretty cool that you got that. But so more importantly, how long has this film festival been around?
We just finished our 34th year, our festival
What
this
the?
year.
Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Been around for a while. Yeah. We were September 23rd through October 3rd, but we started in 1987 and this was our 34th year.
And it's always been called out on film.
It has been,
Well,
even in its early days.
that's amazing. So then that brings up a whole plethora of other questions I want to ask you. Um, how was it received in the beginning? Because look, let's be honest. Hey, look, I did 35 years of musical theater. I danced almost semi-professionally, worked for Cirque du Soleil. So I'm well aware of all of these situations because I've been around in theater for a long time. How in the did it start in the beginning? Did you have any issues? Has it evolved? Have people been embracing it? Your turn.
I've actually been around for 13 years, so I was not amongst the original team. The original team included Atlanta activists like Rebecca Ranson,
Oh,
and basically, the idea was just to bring LGBTQ films to town because, these days I think we're all spoiled by the fact that there's just so much on streaming. If you want to see an LGBTQ film or project, you can turn on TV or your phone and you can just stay there for hours. There's so much. Back in the day, there was very little.
yeah,
And even if there was projects, it would be, maybe you might come to town every 3 months or so. So the idea was really just to bring, a group of films to town in 1987 for a weekend. It
right.
caught on. The organizers kept doing it. Eventually, Out on Film changed hands quite a bit over the first, 15, 20 years or so. And then eventually I took over, a new team took over in 1987 and we sort of rebranded it. And it's been with us since that time. But yeah, I mean, the people who laid the ground for it did some amazing work with it, getting it out there and making it known and really creating the brand.
That's I would have to say that probably a good portion of the success is due to the fact that Atlanta's pretty progressive in a lot of the stuff they do. But I know that there are backwood places that are not, because I'm a professional cowboy as well, and so I know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
It's funny you mention that because yeah, Atlanta is known as Metro Atlanta is very very progressive
right.
LGBTQ friendly. The rest of Georgia not quite as
Not
much.
so
I mean,
much. Yeah.
not quite as much. But the funny thing is, we get a lot of people obviously from Metro Atlanta. We get people who come in from across the state, and what they tell us is that for them, they don't have pockets of or areas where they can go hang out with other people like
Sure.
themselves. They have to come to an event like this where they can feel free and comfortable and feel open. But back home, they're not out to their families sometimes. A
Right.
lot of people can't be out at work. So for them, it's really about community. And that's what we really try to stress, the fact that this is a community event where our community can come together and see films for, by, and about us on the big screen and just enjoy the experience together.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of was alluding to in the beginning, saying that, things have changed. We now don't have to really depend on Hollywood big boys and girls to be able to see what we do and get appreciated, because now you have, 8 to 10,000 plus film festivals around the world. And
Exactly.
which leads me to my next question. You've been doing this for a while. Let's go back to when you first started. How many films do you remember at all? How many films that came in as a submissions way back in the day?
It was probably it was less than 100, maybe right around 100 or so. Um, and yeah, we were, and there was a lot to choose from because back then back in 1987. I mean, obviously 1987 was, but in my first year, 2008, that's when we got in about 100. And our festival was a lot smaller then.
Sure.
We were only a 7-day festival. We've grown since that time into an 11-day festival with multiple venues, and we're virtual. But yeah, I mean, there were back in the day, in my first year, there were about 100 films that we got in, and you had your romantic comedies, your documentaries about AIDS, your
Yeah.
religion,
Yeah.
which are still very much around, and they're all very important. But what's really surprised me these days is there's so much more depth,
Yeah.
and filmmakers are making genre films, comedies, dramas, and musicals. I
Sure.
mean, all together between films we got in this year directly and films we curated, we had about over 700 films to choose
Oh
from,
my.
which is a blessing. But it's when you're a programmer trying to
Oh yeah.
determine how go from 700 to about 150, it can make for some challenging days, but
Yeah.
we get
Yeah.
it.
No, absolutely. And that is a great growth. I mean, that really is. And I have to be totally honest with you, based upon my experience in working in theater and then Cirque du Soleil and other places, that I bet you have amazing red carpets.
I'm sorry, we
I
have, we have
bet you have an
amazing.
amazing red carpet event.
They're good events. I mean, they're not Hollywood. We're not one of those multi-million-dollar film festivals. But we have a nice little step and repeat. We have a red carpet. We have photographers. So when people look at it, they wouldn't know how small our budget is. But yeah, we do have some nice, fun red carpet events
Good,
for
good.
our night.
Let me ask you personally. How about your background? Did you start in film, or were you a plumber and went, "I'm tired of plumbing"? How did you get into this?
How did you know I was a plumber who got tired of plumbing? That's exactly I did. We've never met, but you read me. No,
You're
I
psycho.
grew up
I mean, psychic. Yeah, not psycho.
I grew up in a small town in Georgia, Milledgeville, Georgia, and I always loved movies. I'd escape on the weekends to see movies. Absolutely loved it. When I went to college is when I really started seeing more independent films, documentaries, and really kind of, you know, I guess my film love of film just deepened because I realized there was so much more out there. My when I went to college, I originally wanted to major in film, but there really wasn't a film department. It was more of a it was more of a video
Plumbing,
department.
plumbing,
But
but not film. Plumbing, but not film in
I
that
mean, no.
case.
But plumbing and plumbing and video. But the thing is, back in the day when I was in college, those of us who really want to get into the industry, we knew that there was very little here. I mean, it's certainly not like it is now, where you can go to any school here, you can go to any kind of academy and be trained to work in the industry in years. Back then, it was nothing like that.
Right.
So a lot of us. You did what we had to do, but then stayed in LA. If you wanted to move to New York or LA, you could conceivably pursue a job. But back then, unless if you stayed in Atlanta, there was no way you could do that. So, but yeah, I stayed interested in film. I moved to Atlanta and sort of did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I started working for a movie theater,
Oh,
doing their marketing. And that was right up my alley. It was fun, and that sort of segued into doing the film festival. The film festival, the Atlanta Film Festival gave up out on film in 2008, and I heard about it, and I was there I was like, did you ever see the movie Election with Reese
Yeah.
Witherspoon, Tracy Flick? I was like, me.
Sounds
This is so me. This is so me. It's like, and it was that was just right in my alley, being the festival director of Out on Film. So I took over in 2008, and it's been 13 fun years. It's just something I really enjoy. But yeah, that's how it's sort of, it was sort of a non-linear path. But
yeah.
that's how I came into taking over Out on Film.
Well, I have to tell you, you must. I mean, you said that you're having a great time. You must be because you have a full head of hair, and you didn't like pull it out. Either that, or your hair was down to here like
Well, I
Hercules.
mean, I think that's good lighting. Is I mean, I get grayer every month, especially during the festival season. I mean, look, festivals are fun. Anybody who works in a festival can tell you festivals are a lot of fun. There are lots of perks, but man, the 3 months leading up to it are
Woo!
like pulling your hair, you get gray, and especially, I mean, any festival is a lot of work. But when you deal with COVID and
Yeah.
all the all the layers of that. Listen, the last couple of years, as you've had to navigate the world of COVID and moving from a physical festival to a virtual festival, and then this year doing them both, doing a physical festival and a virtual festival. I mean, that can put gray on your hair. Luckily, we have a lot of vodka in our refrigerator, so
There you go. A lot of vodka. Well, that's. I'm glad you said that you are doing virtual as well because I bumped into a lot of festivals. I've interviewed an awful lot of people that, especially in the Texas area, and they're like, "No way, we're all in person. We're going to do it in person." I'm like, but and I think about that, and as a person that has been doing internet and guerrilla marketing and all this stuff for so many years, it's like when COVID happened, nothing good about it, except for the fact here in LA, as an actor, I was going back and forth to LA, and I live 2.5 hours away. I was going
Ugh.
4 or 5 times a week, either shooting or auditioning. And I'm going
Mhm.
to tell you that when it happened, and I went, you know what? I'm going to create a live streaming company because I used to do radio and TV production as well,
Mhm.
Foxy. And I'm like, you mean I don't have to leave anywhere and I can make it look this good and send in my audition
Exactly.
and film festivals? I mean, you're kind of robbing yourself if you don't do both because look out your window. Those are your people are going to see your film festival in Atlanta. Well,
Exactly.
when you're doing it via virtual, you're it's international. So that's kind of cool.
You know, exactly. I mean, listen, I'm a purist. I grew up watching movies on the big screen. To me, it's just sort of it's sacred. The
Yeah,
process of
agree.
going to a movie, the lights coming down, sitting there absorbing it, being there with amongst your community, discussing it afterwards. And I still love that. That's still my preferred way of seeing a movie. But listen, things have changed.
Yeah.
We still have people who love that, but more and more these days, I have people who say, "Look, I do like the in-person experience, but I don't have a car, or I've got kids, or I can't find parking, or my
Yeah.
parents are coming over, and I can't make it." In festivals, most festivals play a film one time.
Yeah.
So listen, with virtual, you have an entire week to see it when you want to. You can pause it. You can start it again if you need to. So, and we just did a survey. We've done surveys the last couple of years to say, hey, what are your thoughts? Tell us what you think
Oh,
about virtual. And people have said, do not get rid of virtual.
yeah.
I love virtual. I live a virtual. And also, with a regular festival, you usually pick like, I don't know, 6 or 7 films that you can make time for.
Mhm.
With virtual, we have people watching stuff they would never watch in a million years. All those shorts programs, all the small documentaries, all the international films that they would not have seen in person. So, listen, there are definite perks to having a virtual component to your festival.
Yeah, and one of the things from a marketing standpoint, because that's what you do and that's what I do. I mean, you have to in this business do your own thing, one man band. But when you think about it, and you have, let's say 100 filmmakers, those
Hmm.
100 filmmakers are going to be giving a link somewhere to your website and helping you market. Bottom line. And if you did it
Exactly.
only in a theater, you don't get that kind of marketing for free.
Exactly. And again, I'm not one of those festivals that have a $2.5 million budget. So, we have guests down, but we don't have the budget to bring 50, 70, 100 guests. So, with virtual, you can screen a film online, and you can have a Zoom Q&A with filmmakers, and go as long as you want to. There's no time limit. You can put that online, and I'm amazed at how many Q&As we do with filmmakers. that we put on our YouTube channel that people just watch. Like we've had we have some, live streams that have thousands and thousands of people who've watched and recorded them, and not recorded, but just listen. And filmmakers love that, being able to show that to other
Oh,
their patrons.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
look, let's be honest. If you're in this industry and you're looking at all this stuff, every time I do a broadcast or I shoot something with my phone and it looks beautiful, I get so many questions, people going, "How did you do this? Where'd you get this app?" Blah, blah, blah. And the fact is that people are now a good thing. They're interested in how people achieve things, especially success. And so when you're
exactly.
dealing with people that are filmmakers and they're going, "I loved your film. Please tell me more." It has an engagement that you cannot buy. And so
Yeah,
I love that. I love the fact that you're doing this and you're able to
thank
see
you.
these things, because some of these messages would never be heard if you were just
Exactly.
in person. The only thing I do miss in person, going to the theater, but I believe in science. So
Yeah.
I'm vaccinated anyway. But the point is that I only thing I miss about don't miss about the theaters is going in and spending $150 on popcorn. So there's that part. Uh,
You can get popcorn for $150. Where? I haven't seen popcorn for $150 in several years. It's in the
Well,
three figures
you
around
go to
here.
I have a 11-year old, 7-year old boy, and 11-year old, and my wife, and we went to the movie, like, I don't know what it was, a couple, like, before COVID, and for the love of God, of course, you get to sit there in big seats, drink and eat now because the big boys figured out how to make more money off you. But for the love of Pete, man, it's kind of like Ford used to say. Ford said when he first created the cars, he goes, "I could give you the cars as long as you come back to me for the parts and service."
Ah,
So, you can give the movies away for free because that's what they pay us, right?
exactly.
And as long as you get the concessions and all the the stuff involved. Let's
Yeah.
talk about uh, what is your passion? What is the thing in the film festival world that you do? Is there a component that you go, yeah, waking up in the day? I know you said you're marketing, but is there something that when you get it, it might be the most minuscule thing that people go, wait a minute, you like it when what? You open up an envelope and you read the name. What is it in the film festival world that you have most enjoyed? I know I'm going on and on about this just in case you're sitting there going, I don't have any idea what he's talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'll come up with something. I listen, as I've said before, I am just so passionate about film. I fell in love with film as a young kid. It's been such a constant in my life. I love watching films. I love, talking about films with other people. I love connecting with filmmakers. One of the things that has just jazzed me so much is, I'm not someone who's really good at technology. I'm pretty horrendous at technology.
Surprising.
Um, but being able to do Zoom Q&As with filmmakers around the world has been so much damn fun. I mean, it's been so much fun. Like last year, I got to do Q&As with Margaret Cho and Wilson Cruz
Wow.
and Kevin Williamson, the writer of Scream, and I was just a little fanboy, like I can't believe I'm doing this, and it's fun to be able to do it because I mean, again, circumstances don't always work where you can get those people at your festival, so it's nice to be able to have a conversation with those and share that with people, and that's something you could watch again. And for me, that's been probably the only perk of being a film festival during COVID is being able to use Zoom and reach out to filmmakers around the world. Because I mean, again, some of these filmmakers would never in a million years be able to come to your festival, but with Zoom technology, you can just have a Zoom conversation
Yeah.
and bring people together. A lot of times, we'll have panels and we'll literally have filmmakers around the world, and I'm just sitting there guiding it, coming up with my questions. But I'm a fanboy. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this, and I'm getting paid for this. But for me, it's just yeah, I'm getting paid to do this.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing though, is that I don't know if you've gotten the memo yet, but you're a pretty hot commodity. I imagine that you get a lot of people going, "Oh my God, if I could just talk to Jim." I bet Jim would probably, I bet, I mean, don't even tell me you don't. I don't even want to hear it. I'm sure you get like baskets of
There,
fruits and
from,
vegetables all the time, and you
from
must
what
be,
I've heard,
you must have a lot of perks.
from what I've heard from like the Hollywood PR list, there's a waiting list to talk to Jim Farmer, but no. Um, it's we've been lucky. We've been lucky in that we have had access to some people that I really really like. I think a lot of that has been because of the love of what we do. I mean, listen, we love film. We show. I mean, this year, I think we showed more films than any other LGBT film festival in the United States. We definitely had more Zoom conversations with any LGBT film festival in the United States, and it's because we just adore our filmmakers and we stay in touch with our filmmakers and we really work with our filmmakers to promote them.
Sure.
We've really helped bring a lot of attention to Atlanta area filmmakers. But you know, yeah, there are other people I'd love to talk to and can't get. I mean, it's just a matter of timing and circumstance. I mean, I have a lot of people that I've had access to, a lot of people that I would love to talk to, and I get slammed down in about 3 seconds. I mean, you might be surprised at some of the automatic no's I got last year. I was like,
Oh.
hell no. Who are you? No, go back. Yeah,
Don't you know
we've been
who I
like,
am? I'm Jim
well,
Farmer. I'm not the
but
plumber
I
Jim
mean,
Farmer, the other guy.
but there are lots of people we would like to be able to involve with conversations or bring down here. We haven't been able to crack those yet, but we're always still working and growing. Hopefully,
I'm gonna make a phone call, Jim. You just tell me who they are. I'm making phone calls for
okay, I'll give you a long list.
you. One thing actually that kind of intrigued me, you just gave me when you speak to other marketing people, I would never say like I'm a marketing, but I am, just because as a professional actor, I'll show you something in just a second here before we go on. You have a few more minutes?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. But as a professional actor of so many years and all the other skills that I do, you have to really take control of your all your stuff because the day and age of sitting in, as an actor, like I'll be in my green room and here, give me my red M&Ms. And
Hmm.
that ain't it. You got to market yourself. But talking to you, I just came up with a great idea that I'm going to talk to Sal about is I think we're going to try to see about getting places like you that have Q&As and putting it and spotlighting in our program and then
Oh,
putting it
nice.
to our YouTube and pointing it back to you that way because those you're right the benefit of film festivals in general is the fact that you can literally see people from around the world and see their films and their expression and their causes and love it and know that they shot it like I did a film when I was in Brazil shooting a Netflix film for 46 days on an iPhone 5S. This is a couple years ago, and it's received 20 awards, and I received two Best Actors on a
Congratulations.
phone. On a phone. And the fact is that you gave me a great idea. I'm going to try to talk to Sal about this, about doing
Nice.
some of these Q&As, because those are golden when you talk to people and you get to this is what we're missing in our day and age anyway is the connection of being able to talk to people and every once in a while doing this really clever thing called listening and being
What?
able to go
Listening.
yeah right would you say I'm busy uh, but anyway I'm going to show you something really quickly. Hang tight, we're going to take a small break, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here's the deal. Actors, by the way, new backdrop. I decided to kind of wiggity whack and change it a little bit here. But let me show you something here. If you have not seen the show yet, I came up with, as an actor, I think it's our job to come up with as much marketing and interesting things as we can. Problem is that the industry doesn't let us. To be totally honest with you, if you try to contact the, hey, I got a casting director on the phone, hold on, I say, hey, what's going on? Yeah, what do you mean? When they hung up on you, because you can't call them, you can't email them. Watch this though. I created a banner ad that looked like a decorating thing, like, hey, casting directors, you should get this. Click here. And it looked like a place where you would go into an audition. And when you click it, and I bought ad space in different places that I knew that they were going to be that demographic. And when you did it, what you saw was this. Hey, thanks for clicking the banner. Now, I know you're dying to know what it is that makes a successful casting office or director or production. And the answer is actors. See, you can have a great script, great casting director, a director, producer, but here's the problem. You always need good actors. To be or not to be. But let's face it, there's way too many of us. And we can't market to you, which is odd considering that they call it show business, and that means that there's business in the show. We can't call you, we can't send you an email. We just submit to the breakdowns like the other 4,800 that submitted to you on that casting call with no action packed pitch letter, sales letter, and all we do is stand in line and remain quiet. Let's be honest. Lines are for Starbucks, not for careers. If I still have your attention, I want you to watch this next 46-second video. Now don't go away, because there's a quiz after this.
Detective Gennaro, I need to speak with Rex Wilson.
Rex is already out there on the speedway for his practice run.
You know what I mean.
Now let me see your shotgun.
Here, cool it down.
Just like your old man, huh? Is there a problem, soldier? I'm asking you a question, Lieutenant.
Running in clown shoes. This is gonna be fun.
Time! What if they need more time? See? That wasn't so painful. And I even saw a couple of you laughing. So if you like what you saw, operators are standing by.
Yeah, Will
yeah,
Roberts
he's an
is
A-lister
great.
for sure.
Oh, you want to book him?
That's my agent. And if you didn't like my approach, well, I'm Daniel Craig, and I hope you enjoyed this commercial. So one of the things I wanted to say here today, differently than I've said before, and then we'll go back to our guests and finish up, is that, I created that little spot, and I actually shot, produced a lot of the stuff, unless they were from a series or a film I did. But here's the thing. This is a very tough route to take, this industry. And if you don't think so, then you probably just started. And, becoming an overnight success, because a lot of times my friends on Facebook that I've done billions of shows with musical theater are looking at me now going, man, you're like an overnight success. And I'm like, overnight? 40 years. And so, still haven't hit where I want to be. But here's the thing. This industry can get you down every day. Just today, I was like I had 4 of my friends call me up. I know my friends are doing well when they call me up and they go, hey, how's it going? I go, what'd you get? Oh, I got on a series. Yeah, thanks. Bye. Actors tend to not be so compassionate with other actors sometimes, but here's what I want to tell you. You have to get a resilient skin. You have to keep going. But while you're doing that, you need to create. Do your own shit. Don't sit there and wait for someone else to get you, call you, do whatever. Because if you do, you're going to be sitting there and waiting a long time. And if you aren't up to speed with your technology and your marketing and doing stuff like that, and you just don't want to do it, I might recommend that you get a job as a barista instead. Bottom line is that this industry is extremely difficult to do. And if you're not sitting in your car crying sometimes because of it, or if you're not frustrated, then you're not doing it right. Or maybe you're doing it right, and unfortunately you got picked up on that Vampire Diaries series quicker than I would have. So there it is. Let's go back to our guest. Hang tight. Here we go. Make sure I got this right, Jim. Welcome back, Jim. And by the way, Instagram, you can reach out and get on with them at OutOnFilm. Check that out. The website, is it outonfilm.com? What is it? I don't.
OutOnFilm.org.
Ooh, .org. Okay, good. So last thing I want to kind of ask you, and that really is just kind of I call this like free advice, best 4-letter word in the English language, it's another question asking you if you had any advice for people in this industry because you've done it since 2008. By the way, I remember that year. That was the year that a really cool president came into play. In any case, and then we got all screwed up after that. But anyway, bottom line is that I want to know if you have any advice for anybody, a little free advice. It could be, it could be related to the film industry. It could be film festivals, or it could be like, hey, I make a really good quiche, and here's how you do that. It's your moment. I'd love you to tell us something.
I make a really good quiche, but probably I think a lot of other people do. But that's another topic, another
topic, another show.
I'll say this. I don't know if I have any grand film festival advice for people. I'll say this. No one gets into this industry because you're looking to make tons of money. You get into this industry because you love what you do. You're passionate about it. I've had a very nonlinear career path, and I had a job 20 years ago that was the most painful job of my life. It was homophobic. It just beat me down. The money was great, benefits are great, but it wore me down. And I said to myself, I will never ever do that again in my life. So I've now found a job that I love. And my advice is, if you're able to find a job that you love and really run with it, and you got to be passionate about what you do. You can't fake it. So I mean, that's not really specific to my industry, but I guess that's just advice in general. Just find something that you're passionate about, because you're not gonna. I can never work in a bank. I can never have a 9 to 5 job. I'm too. That's just not who I am. But so just like you. I mean, I'm sure you don't do what you do because you get those George Clooney checks. I mean, you do it because you got to do it. It's in your blood. Well, maybe sometimes you do get those George Clooney checks, but find what you're passionate about and try to find a career and build it around that,
Yeah,
around your passion.
I think coming from you and, of course, out on film, I think that's a really important thing because, when I started off in theater back in the 80s, early 80s, and I dealt with a lot of my friends that, that were coming out. And
Yeah,
that was the time during AIDS and all the horrible stuff that happened, not only medically or physically to my friends. Many of them passed away, but the stigma attached to that, and then
sure,
dealing with people not actually following their passion because of that,
exactly.
it almost makes me emotional, to say that what you're saying is it's just it's a life moniker that you should be wearing. I don't care what you are or who you are. I agree with you wholeheartedly because the worst thing to do, and I hate to say this, I know many people that wake up and go, God, I got shit. And they go, what are you doing today? I go, whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
fact of the matter is that whether it's who you love or what you do,
Mm.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, my friend. Jim
I've been.
Farmer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no. Jim Farmer, of course, the festival director and an awesome guy. By the way, I love that yellow dresser drawer in the back. It looks
Oh,
really. It
thank
looks
you.
like. Is it like 20s or 30s? It's really cool
I
looking.
don't. All I know is that my grandmother. It's a hand me down from my grandmother, so I've had it since her days. I have no idea where she got it, what the story is. I got it from her, and I've kept it. So that's
There
really.
you go. We're talking about furniture now. Jim, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. If you have anything else coming up, when you do release the film, when you do release the press release saying that, hey, you can send in your films. When is that, by the way?
We probably will open up submissions January 1st, 2022.
We look forward to that press release and maybe getting you on again to officially launch that and help you in
That'd be great.
any way, shape, and form we can do that. Okay, my friend?
That would be Grizzly. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You too. We'll see you later. Hey, everybody, that was the show. And again, just ending it and saying this, talking to Jim, what a wonderful thing because, look, I love to talk to film festival people because I share the love of what we all do. And, I'm one of those people that I didn't go to school. I'm gonna be honest with you. So when people go, "Hey, did you go to Harvard for your acting? Did you go to?" No, I pretty much did a lot of theater and became a good self-evaluator, and I've done pretty good. But the thing that I do love about doing this show, and I'm being totally honest with you, is that I like to meet people like Jim because there's a whole nother part of me that has experienced this whole industry that has been shutting out people and also putting them in categories. And now it is time for everybody to be on the same level playing field. I'm saying that to you big boys in Hollywood as well, and wherever you happen to be, is that, again, film festivals are in the front seat, okay? And we're driving like a madman and woman and whatever. So have a great day. Do what you want. And when you stop doing what you want, why don't you give me a call? I'll kick your ass. All right. Talk to you later. Be well, be safe, but most importantly, be yourself. Bye bye.